Welcome to all of you to this conference where we together with you want to expand and elaborate our learning on a gender perspective on evaluation in the European Social Fund.
The aim of ESF is to improve employment, education and social inclusion, and the target group is people. So we are men and women, and we have to think about that.
The Gender-CoP is a community dedicated to integrating the gender dimension into the European Social Fund, ESF, programs, both in the current programming period, but also in the upcoming post-2014, and to connect it to the EU 2020 strategy. Our goal is that gender mainstreaming shall be an integral part of future ESF management at the end of the network's lifespan. We have a quite big goal. We have quite hard work in front of us.
Of course we have, and we always mention, right? I think always when we talk about gender, we always mention, and especially when we are talking about gender mainstreaming, the important milestone of Beijing, in 1995. Because, of course, and you already know, you are a very specialized audience in that sense, because the gender mainstreaming strategy was endorsed by the platform of action, which was signed by many governments, and this means bringing gender issues into the mainstream of society and having gender equality as a primary goal in all areas of social and economic development.
Men gain more out of the European Social Fund at the moment, although if you only have a look at the programs, there is a lot programming for gender equality. So, well, if you just have a superficial look at what is done within the European Social Fund, you think, oh, there's a lot of gender equality projects, there's something on work-life balance and so on and so on. But if you look at the budget allocation, one has to say it's not really equal, because men are the participants in the projects and programs which are bigger in terms of the budget. And well, this is something that should be changed, and our government also says, well, it should be changed, there should be an equal distribution or even a compensatory effect, because the European Social Fund is really on gender mainstreaming and gender equality.
In my opinion, takes some idea about gender budgeting, because I think we need in Poland to take care about monitoring system and to focus more about how many money we spend for the men and women, and we don't have some in practice, we don't implementing gender budgeting, not yet in Poland, so it will be a good opportunity to share about some idea from German colleagues about gender budgeting. So for me it was very fruitful conference and good idea to our ESF in Poland.
We have to take into account gender in the motivation to evaluate and in the elaboration of the terms of reference. This should be done already, and it should be reflected, the idea of gender. We should apply gender analysis in knowing the program and the context. We need gender perspective in identifying stakeholders. In setting criteria and asking evaluation questions, we should also try to do that. Of course, in collecting and analyzing the data, even taking into account things that seem they are not so important, like, for example, schedules on when and where to get, for example, women or other people, other stakeholders to answer, for example, our questions or the questionnaires. Of course, we need a gender perspective in interpreting and judging the data, in developing recommendations, in writing the report, and in communicating the results, right? So it would be along all these way.
As Maria also said, that the gender concepts have had a great evolution, and now we talk about gender plus, meaning that gender is has the intersection with age, race, ethnic background, sexual orientation, poverty, and whatever. So all these factors increase the fuzziness of evaluation, and they demand integrative frameworks in order to manage them.
We would, in the ideal world, we would have a sort of a strategy also how to deal with the newcomers, those who doesn't know gender and evaluation, and those who are very advanced and need to learn more. So there will be special sessions in the conference, perhaps, for these people. And I think also maybe we come up with a new concept, aside from feminist perspective, feminist evaluation, gender-sensitive evaluation, and evaluation from a gender perspective. It might be something a little bit more ongoing, like gendering evaluation or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Very interesting presentations for me as an evaluator as well. It was very interesting to see many of the pieces that I know about put into a very theoretical context, but also practical tips in terms of how this should be carried out, and many concepts which evaluators like me know about, but which are important to put into that context. For example, the danger of the gender blindness, or taking evaluation as a gender neutral tool, which I can bring back to perhaps some of my colleagues as well.
At one point it also was for me a small point, but I think it's very important if we speak about the future of the structural fund or the ESF in Austria or in the Union, that we should not forget the visions, to discuss about the vision, which targets or which objectives will we reach with the ESF budget for the future.
I would say that the most important thing that the member states should focus on would be the creation of permanent structures that would actually follow gender mainstreaming recommendations, and that would see that these are implemented in practice, and not only at the policy or more theoretical level. It would be important to see gender mainstreaming really being solidly enforced in projects, and I believe that a very good way for that to materialize would be if member states would have bodies that would actually have as their full responsibility to follow this up. This is already the case in some member states, but it would be good to have that in all, if possible.
I think this conference has shown in particular the very important role which evaluation plays in terms of ensuring that gender mainstreaming strategies actually do take place on the ground level. The importance of monitoring what's going on, whether that's in terms of the budget, in terms of the number of participants, in terms of the strategies that are being applied, in order to ensure that gender mainstreaming is really taking place. And it's the only way, by taking that into account, that we can improve what we're doing in terms of strategy and really ensure that gender mainstreaming takes place in the European Social Fund.